which is Pereira versus Ankalaev. Why am I choosing Ankalaev? I'll tell you why I'm choosing Ankalaev. Okay, I went through their footage, and look, we all know Pereira can win. How does he win? Kick to the head, big powerful hook, scissor knee. Like, he's a devastating striker. He can kick your wheels out from underneath you. He has a chopping low kick that's deadly. He's got a long reach with his leg as well. He's super dangerous standing up. He doesn't win any other way. It's always standing up. Now, he's a brilliant striker. In my opinion, he's the best striker in the world today. I think he is the best striker in the world today of MMA, pound for pound, in the whole world of MMA. If I was building a super fighter, I would take the striking ability of Alex Pereira. However, in this fight, I do believe that Ankalaev is going to be able to stay competitive, not beat Pereira standing up, but stay competitive. And later in the fight, maybe even start to win the exchanges standing up because of the wrestling threat. Don't forget, Pereira's got to be really sharp and defensive when it comes to the wrestling. Let's not forget, Ankalaev took down Blachowicz. Now, Blachowicz took down Pereira, and it was actually a very, very close fight. We had a very, how should I say, everybody on the post-fight analysis, everybody was arguing about who really won. It was a very close fight. Now, I don't want to rehash Pereira versus Blachowicz, but it was a close fight. It was a very close contest. Now, Ankalaev was getting his wheels kicked out from underneath him by Blachowicz. He was getting his leg chopped, and he did a great job of surviving that. However, I don't think Pereira is going to be able to kick the wheels out from underneath Ankalaev without getting taken down. This time, Ankalaev is going to be a little bit sharper. You saw his fight with Johnny Walker. He was kind of like lifting his leg all the time. He was fighting and lifting. He was pre-checking those kicks. He learned his lesson. He learned this lesson from the Blachowicz fight. And I think he's going to block those kicks. I think he's going to crowd Pereira. I think he's going to get takedowns. And after he softened up Pereira on the ground, their striking is going to get closer and closer. It's going to be more competitive. And ultimately, Pereira is going to be stuck between defending takedowns and worrying about the striking. He's going to have a two-prong attack. Ankalaev is going to have a two-prong attack where Pereira, all you got to really worry about is his strikes. Now, of course, he's got a lot of strikes you got to worry about. He ended the fight with Jiri with a head kick. Almost came out of nowhere, it seemed. Flying knees, left hook. Of course, the left hook, nobody can defend. Nobody can stop. But I really believe that Ankalaev has a little bit more natural size, perhaps, just a little bit. I believe he's going to be getting into the legs. He has very good upper body takedowns as well, follow-up takedowns. And on the ground, you know what? Ankalaev's got too much experience. I don't think, when you look at these two fighters on paper, I don't think Pereira should be getting up. Now, he's a great athlete, but he's not as seasoned. I know a lot of you are going to tell me, Coach, he did a lot of MMA. He started in MMA before he did kickboxing. He has a background in MMA. That might be so, but he had never reached high levels of jiu-jitsu. He never reached high levels of jiu-jitsu and wrestling. He mainly was a kickboxer. He focused his career on kickboxing. He's probably stopped doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling altogether, I'm assuming. The man fought and won 2 titles in Glory, in 2 weight divisions, I mean. 2 weight divisions. So I don't think he was doing too much jiu-jitsu. Now, of course, he's went into MMA, but I think he's never really fought a good wrestler. Maybe early in his career, they gave him one good wrestler who kept him on the ground the whole time, and then he did a scissor knee and finished the guy in round 2. Blachowicz was the next good grappler / wrestler, you can say, that fought Pereira, and he was able to get him to the ground, take his back, even though it was a very close fight. I just think Ankalaev can do better than Blachowicz. What % for Pereira win over Ankalaev? Your opinion. That's from Vuk. Vuk, I'm giving it 51% chance for Ankalaev to win. 51-49. I think it's a close fight. I just can't. I really can't say there's a clear winner in this. I think it's going to be competitive. However, you know, with Pereira's knockout power, it can end in a second. It can end in a blink of an eye. But also, if he throws those kicks, if he throws those big hooks, he can get taken down. I think those kicks can lead to takedowns. I think that big hook can lead to a body lock. It can lead to a double leg. It can lead to bad news for Pereira. Pereira's going to have to walk a fine line. He's going to have to walk a fine line and be careful that he doesn't get taken down. Look, think about it. He fought Adesanya, okay? Adesanya doesn't shoot. He fought Strickland, as Strickland doesn't shoot. He fought a lot of guys that don't shoot. You know, he fought a lot of guys that really don't have the athleticism he has, and they don't have the wrestling he has. So I think this is a very interesting matchup. Now, if he beats Ankalaev convincingly, and Ankalaev is shooting and can't take him down, it'll blow my mind. Like, It will show that Pereira has evolved as a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu practitioner. It remains to be seen. I'm not convinced yet. I do believe it's possible. Absolutely. It's very, very possible. That's why I'm only giving Ankalaev a 1% advantage. I'm thinking this fight is highly difficult to predict. Let's see how far. That's the big question. How far has Pereira's wrestling and jiu-jitsu come? That's the question we're going to find out. Salam, Coach, do you think Magomed can utilize feints and get Alex to react and leave himself open to strikes to the head? That's from the knocker. Yes, absolutely. Pereira has to be constantly worried about the takedown. And Ankalaev has got to defend the kicks. He's got to defend the hook. He's got to defend the flying knee. He's got to defend the pressure from Pereira. You know, Pereira has a very aggressive striking. But if Pereira gets overly aggressive, overly extend himself, kicks a little too often, he might get that kick caught. And that might be like an easy takedown. You know, sometimes somebody kicks you and you grab their kick. It's almost a free takedown. It's actually quite easy to do if you can catch the kick. Guys, I gave a Ramadan Mubarak to you all. Thank you very much. Ramadan Mubarak to you all. Why do you think Ankalaev says he will strike with Pereira? He is making a huge mistake, question mark. That's from Musis. No, I don't think it's a huge mistake. He has to strike with him. He can't just go and shoot in his legs. You know, it's going to be too obvious. You know, Pereira's not a naive guy. For sure, he's wrestling. He's doing wrestling defense. He's going to be sharp on his wrestling defense. He's working on it, I'm sure, over time. It's not going to be an easy takedown. Don't forget, Pereira is a big, strong, powerful athlete. He's not just some guy who kickboxes and he's kind of quick. No. He's quick. He's explosive, but he's also a very strong athlete. He's a very, very powerful man physically. I don't think it's an easy takedown. I just think that you have to set up that takedown. If you don't set up that takedown, you're going to get shut down. So I think it's very wise on Ankalaev's part. Okay, guys, we have a super chat. I'm doing super chats and non-super chats. I'm not going to stay too long on this fight. I'm very interested in seeing the polls now. We're at 60%. 60% are calling Pereira to win. Coach Frost, what do you think about Magomed getting dropped by those two orthodox left hooks from Thiago Santos and straight lefts and hooks from Jan? Mike, you're totally right. That's the one thing I think which is kind of scary. Santos did a good job on Magomed, but the thing is, you saw he's a survivor, man. He's a survivor. He's good at coming back. He's good at rallying back. He's good at coming back to get the win. It's actually quite surprising, but he does get knocked down. If Pereira connects, man, it's going to be a bad night. It's going to be a bad night, but he was able to get those two guys down. He was able to get Blachowicz down. He was able to get Santos down. I haven't watched those fights in a while, but let me just look real quick. I believe it was unanimous, right? He came back. He got knocked down, and I believe he came back to win unanimous. Okay, 1 second here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Okay, Magomed against Santos was a unanimous decision. Look, he got dropped and came back to win a unanimous decision. That was 3 years ago, however. Okay, ever since then he's won. He stopped Anthony Smith. Draw. Oh, it was a draw with Blachowicz. That's right. I forgot about that. Split decision. Split draw. No contest with Johnny Walker. There was the eye poke, and then he rematched Johnny Walker. That's the fight where he was blocking Johnny Walker's kicks like he was walking in like a Thai walk, you know, like the way Thais walk forward. They're checking your kick before you throw it. They're kind of crowding you. I thought it was a great job. He got the KO against Johnny Walker. That was an incredible fight. He had a good unanimous decision win over Rakic, and now he's fighting Pereira. It's a scary thing. Okay, look, he got knocked down by Santos. He got dropped by Blachowicz. But he came back. He came back. He rallied back. It was quite interesting how he's able to rally back. Poatan will lose. You heard it here from me. That's from Larry Bird. A gentleman named Larry Bird says that Poatan will lose. Well, I dare you to say that to his face. No, I'm just kidding. Look, he might lose, but man, I hate picking against Pereira. I hate it because this guy has a one-shot knockout strike. in all of his limbs. I think in every one of his limbs. Could be by knee, elbow, uppercut. Like, just there's no shot I don't think he can't knock anybody out with. And that's a scary thing because it makes fights look like one-sided. But really, if that punch didn't land, it could have led to a takedown, change the whole tempo of the fight. Coach, do you think UFC is punishing Magomed by making him fight during Ramadan? That's from Hani Mali. I don't think so. I don't think they think of that. I think they just kind of book fights. And I know they're sensitive to Ramadan. They know about it. I've talked to them about it. Just sometimes the logistics. I don't think it's that easy for them to book fights. It's not that simple. They have a lot of things up in the air. And I don't think they try to punish people by... I don't think so. No, I mean, I know the UFC quite well. I know the people who are, behind the scenes working. And I don't think there's any of that, to be honest with you. I think it's just like they needed this fight because, it makes sense for their schedule logistically. It's such a, man, I'm telling you, UFC is like an orchestra. It's crazy. It's such a huge machine. There's so much going on. There's so many people. There's so many, and they're the most professional fight organization in the world by a large margin. Like, I've been everywhere around the world. UFC's like they got everything taken care of. Every little detail, every little thing you wouldn't have ever thought of, they thought of it. They pick you up from the airport, you get to your hotel, everything's perfect. They have the diet, they help you make your weight. They help you make your weight, they help you rehydrate, they help you get to the ring, they check your weight. Everything in terms of health is taken care of. They set you up to have a perfect fight experience. All you got to do is fight. All you got to do is show up, make weight, fight. They're so organized. There's so many people, brilliant people making this show the best show on earth, the best fight show on earth. So it's just, it would blow my mind if they tried to factor in something like that. I don't think that's at all on their mind. They're just like, look, we need these fights in these dates because these people fought, this guy won, so it added like this. And they have a formula. They're working, okay? Like, this is the right fight to make at the right time. So, what venues they're working. I don't know what's going on with the venues, but I'm sure that's something they consider. They're not going to throw in another variable like, is it Ramadan or not? But the thing is, I know a lot of fighters refuse to fight during Ramadan. That I know for a fact. Okay, some fighters can train at odd hours. They have the resources to do it. Some fighters are like, hey, man, I can't change my whole gym's schedule, So they refuse to fight during Ramadan. So they tell UFC, and that happens every year. Some guys are not available because of Ramadan. That is true. That's a fact. However, Ankalaev is doing a title fight. Maybe he's organizing his Ramadan in a different way. Maybe he's, there's other rules. Like if his job is at stake, maybe he can do it afterwards, give charity. There's other things. That's something for a mufti to answer. It's not me. But he has work. That's his job. That's what he does for a living. So maybe he has he made an exception this time, So maybe they worked something out is what I'm trying to say. I'm not privy to that conversation. I have no idea. I'm just trying to speculate here. They might have worked something out. Ankalaev starts getting takedowns in the third. Does it go to the end? That's from Mike. Look, I believe Pereira can survive submissions. I believe he's a big, strong, athletic guy. He's done jiu-jitsu a long time ago. He's familiar. He's not like completely naive. He's not naive on the ground. It's just he's focused so much on striking that it would shock me that he's anything above purple belt. And that's including his athleticism. What he knows and his athleticism, he should be about a purple belt, And Ankalaev has been grappling his entire life. Like, he's been grappling for a long time. He's a very seasoned grappler. So he should, when you look at it on paper, he should get this fight to the ground. And he should control this fight. Should is a very strong word, though. Ankalaev's striking looked great versus Rakic. He checked Rakic's leg kicks. That's from Coco. True, he did a very good job in the striking, but it's not the same reach and speed, I think, of a 2-division champion of glory. So we're going to have to wait and see. But the thing is, it's going to be risky for Pereira to kick. He might get taken down. You kick, you can get taken down as well. Will Alex have the gas tank to go all 5 rounds if Ankalaev spams takedowns? That's from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Not if he scores them. If he scores takedowns and he holds Pereira down for a prolonged period, mat returns. Like, as Pereira gets up, he picks him up, puts him back down. Like, he just kind of stays on him. He stays on him like a dog on a bone. He will break Pereira. Any man will break. With that much pressure on you for too long, you will break. Okay, no human being can stay underneath a strong, heavy, seasoned grappler who outranks you, outdoes you. And not fatigue. You're going to fatigue. You're being inefficient. So, look, at the end of the day, if Ankalaev gets on top of him, on paper, with the experience Ankalaev has, he should maul him. Should. Santos' lockdown was a slip. That's from Hustle Bones. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll tell you something. I don't think it was. Let me see that again. I don't think it was. Santos versus Ankalaev. Knockdown. Okay, let's see here. Right here. Where's the knockdown? I think it's right here. Oof, Santos throws heat, man. No, I don't think it was a slip. He kind of hit him behind the ear a little bit. Which, oh, no, the second shot. No, he dropped him, man. That's no slip. He wobbled him at first, and then he dropped him with a hook, man. He viciously dropped him with a hook. Hit him off the top of the head as well. No. Santos legitimately knocked him down. I'm looking at the takedown here. A body lock takedown, picks him up off the hip. Oh, no, it was a trip. It was a Kosotogake. Look, Ankalaev, he's not going to be easy to stop, man. His takedowns are there. He's got body lock takedowns. He could shoot the legs. You know, he's not the best at shooting the legs. He's good, but his body lock takedowns and his takedowns on the legs, I think is quite good. Quite good and good enough. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much the fight. You know, I don't want to beat this thing to death. I just worry Ankalaev made a mistake with the Ramadan. That's from Hustle Bones. Well, you know, I saw him in Las Vegas. Well, he was training. I think it was, I'm not sure. I started fasting March 1st. Again, I don't know. Some people started March 2nd. Okay. I started March 1st. You know, every year we have a discrepancy of one day. I saw him in the gym. I know I don't want to say too much, but, you know, he seemed like he was working. He was working, but I don't think he was. I'm not sure if he was fasting. Some people started the second, like I said. But he wasn't working super hard. It was kind of like drilling and doing. I think he's working smart. You know, I'm sure he wakes up, eats in the period where you're allowed to eat, and does his hard workout. And then during the day, he probably does like an easier workout. I'm sure he's organizing himself. For sure, this is his big shot, you know, to get a title fight. So who knows, you know. I don't know how he's managing it personally. I have no idea.